I think you're on mute, Carl.
That old chestnut. You're on mute. Welcome to COVID. Who here didn't have to do like Zoom stuff during COVID? Anyone? Or did you all end up doing remote stuff? So
No, I didn't have to do it.
I ran training courses over it. One of my part-time jobs is I worked as a flying instructor. During COVID, there was no flying instructing going on for obvious reasons. So we ran a lot of theory classes, and I put together a whole thing, and we instructed all this theory instructing over online on Zoom, and they all, hey, you're on mute. Idiot. Anyway, welcome everyone. I do want to show you something before I go into sort of the meat and potatoes of tonight. It's a recap for the weekend's games, and we're going to spend most of the time on the Jokers game, and not because there were so many goals scored, although there was. Although in the end there was only 4, but because there was it was a very mismatched game in a lot of ways, but we managed to do a fairly good job of keeping our structure together. And one of the really valuable lessons you can get from that is if your structure is good, individual player skill matters less. I guess that's a really, really key point. And so I want to show you, before we kind of go into everything else, I'm going to show you the last, I think it's about 3 minutes of the first period of the Jokers versus the Big Deals game. I'll just share that now, and we'll just let it run. And then afterwards, we'll have a little bit of a discussion about what we saw in that particular period of play and what was so interesting about it. Pop it on now. It goes for 3.5 minutes. So what do you think?
The first thing I'm noticing is skating and the confidence is a lot better now compared to a lot earlier in our season. That's for sure.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Absolutely, everyone's mostly managing to stay upright, and that's a huge.
Yeah.
I'm not being facetious. That's a big thing, and that's a very important skill. What else? Like, what really leaps out at you about that particular bit of play?
Pretty well structured. They seem to be holding their boxes and moving well across the ice in defence and offence, and their box system's working pretty well.
Yep. We weren't on a penalty kill. We were just on a standard play. But absolutely, yeah, the positioning was working reasonably well for most of it. There was a few breakdowns. But what's probably the single biggest thing about that chunk of time? What was constantly happening?
It was spent up that end.
Sorry, Emma?
The puck didn't leave that defensive zone.
Yeah, it didn't it? We were stuck defending for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of constant defense. And the amazing thing is we managed to get the puck out of the net, which is pretty good. And that's testament not only to Cap in net, who did very, very well, but also to what other things that was, as Luke pointed out, structurally, we're doing a pretty good job of owning that space in front of the net. What would you say was I mean, and Luke made the very good observation that our skating has improved a lot since the season started. But as a comparison between the big deals and the jokers, would you say they were pretty even skill wise or not?
No.
No, they're all better, aren't they?
Yes.
So with that in mind, the reason why this is such an interesting observation is that their team's not going to change. They're not going to pull those players out. It's halfway through the season and they're going to stick with them. And they've got 4 players who we've identified as being pretty handy for Div 9. But regardless, they're going to stick there through the grade. So how do we beat them? Because we can.
Better. Oh, yep.
Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say to continue to work on our strategies and working together.
Yeah, get the structure right. When we get the structure right, it works. What they were good at was exploiting our weaknesses. But when we got it sorted out and we maintained our ownership in front of the net and we did the right things and we back-checked hard, and we did put forechecking pressure on them as well, we found their weaknesses because they've got 4 players who are very good, but the rest of them are our level. And they are absolutely a beatable team. Individually, like if we were playing 4-on-4 against them, we'd have a problem. But we don't typically play 4-on-4 in this unless everyone's in the penalty box. Where are you, Michael?
Yeah. It was worth it. That's all I'm saying. It was worth the time.
I'm not going to argue with you about it all. If I was playing in that particular game, it probably would have happened a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Been a fair bit more spectacular. But the point is, if we get our structure right and we do our jobs individually and look after our pieces of the ice, then we're hard to score against. And that's the key to winning games of hockey, and it's the key to being competitive. The difference between what happened with us against this team and what happened last week when they played against the Southern Lights. When they played the Southern Lights, they beat them 10-0. Right, 10-0. That's a big win, right? That's a goal every 2.5 minutes, right? That's a heartbreaking loss, really, from the point of view of the Lights. And they've got to try and find things in games like that, which do occasionally happen, that you can take out of them as being positives. Like, what do we do? What did we improve in this game, even while we're basically being given a hiding? And throughout that first period, we started to get our structure sorted out. And you can see that from that great big long. So I know you might have just missed that one, Alison, but we just played the last 3.5 minutes of the first period of the game, Jokers against the Deals, when we were stuck in the defensive zone for 3 minutes non-stop and they didn't score.
Remember that.
Which really is it's a testament to the defensive, just not giving up of the Jokers team in that particular bit of play. And it worked. It worked. I mean, we made mistakes, but so did they. So they're not an A grade team by any stretch of imagination, but they've got some players who'd probably be pretty handy I don't know. We'd probably put them in a Div 5 team. But, one or two players, they don't make enough of a difference. And you'll start to identify too that when you have those few players who are very, very good compared to the rest, they start trying to do everything, basically because they can. And that has an ongoing effect to the team. What do you think that might be?
They don't learn.
Yeah, they don't get a chance to improve because the other guys are doing everything.
Yeah.
We've certainly seen that on a number of occasions with teams we've played against at the start of the season. They've had one or two players who were clearly way too good for the grade, but they stayed in. And by the end of the season, we actually look forward to them being on the ice. Because when they were on the ice against us, none of the rest of the team could do anything because they just go coast to coast. And all we'd do is wait for them. And they would try and skate in and score a goal, and we'd be there waiting for them in the slot, and they would mishandle and put the puck in the corner, and we could counterattack. And that's when we got our chances. And the rest of the team hadn't improved because of these particular players just taking everything. And as a result, no one else was getting a chance to do anything, which ultimately is a weakness. So we want to make sure that we don't let that happen as well. I don't think it will, but we've just got to be mindful of it. But if we all do our jobs and we all trust our teammates, then not only do we improve throughout the season and ultimately we end up more competitive, but it's also more fun. If imagine if you're on a team where one or two players are doing everything, what's it like for everyone else?
Boring as shit.
What's it like for those guys?
Probably fun.
I would have thought frustrating.
What, you mean the blokes that are doing everything?
Yeah. Because they're not getting help. They end up having to do everything, so they get frustrated with their teammates who can't keep up.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've never been able to, because they've never been given a chance to.
Yeah.
So they start to get, there becomes friction within the teams because, the better players are yelling at the not as good players because, why aren't you playing at my speed? And so, well, of course, they can't because they don't have that level of skill. But also they haven't had a chance to develop the teamwork because they never got a chance to do it because these guys are going coast to coast all the time.
Yeah.
So we've got to make sure we don't let that happen to us. And we've got to take advantage of it in the teams we're playing against. It doesn't mean we don't continue to work on our own individual skills because obviously that's very important. We all need to skate better. We all need to do a lot of different stuff better. So on the topic of getting better too, I don't know how many of you have seen it, but you might have heard of Nathan Walker, maybe. And if you haven't, you're going to hear about who Nathan Walker is now. He plays for St. Louis in the NHL, or St. Louis, depending on how you choose to pronounce it. And he's the first Australian player to ever have played in the NHL. And he's from Sydney, but he's coming down to Melbourne to run some training sessions. And Jamie Burke's organised it all because they're mates. They know each other from years ago. So Berkey's organised it, and he's coming down to run some training sessions, which will be skills focused, obviously. And they've asked us to encourage you guys to come along. We're having sessions specifically for beginners, sort of Div 9, Div 8 players. So it could be a great opportunity to get on the ice with an NHL player, which be kind of special. It's not going to happen very often in your life. So it could be a pretty cool thing to do.
I'm 100% going to do that.
Get your tickets quick, because I suspect they're going to sell out because a lot of people, people would travel from all over the country to come to these things.
Yeah.
Just to, hey, I skated with the guy who's on the same team as Binnington. Who? Oh, that nutter. But no, Nathan Walker's a really good guy, and it's tremendous that he's coming down to iceHQ to run it, to be part of a training session that the ice guys are going to run. So it'd be a fantastic opportunity. Enough for the bloody sales pitch. Let's get back into our game. So we're going to look at what happened. We'll go through the Tigers game first because it won't take very long. And I don't mean that in a disparaging sense, but those of you who are in the Tigers game, what do you remember about that?
It was a pretty tight competition. It was pretty evenly, grouped, and that's what I noticed. Yeah,
it was a really good game. That's the sort of game that we want to see. We want to see all the teams pretty even. It comes down to like the last few seconds, and any team can win, and that's what makes it exciting. Win, lose, or draw. It's great to watch, and it's great to be part of because he's got that real involvement, and everyone's having to lift, and everyone's trying to do better, and that forces you to improve, which is terrific. So let's have a look at some of the stuff that happened in that game. Jokers. All right, here's one. Oops. Yeah, oh, no, I can do it this way. This will work. Should probably do it with the sharing advanced thing because it does. Apparently, it's supposed to work a little bit better. I've been converting everything into MP4 so it views a bit better. We wanted to have a look at tigers, didn't we? T. Oh, they're still MKVs. Oops, that won't work. Sorry, different format. Ignore me. So we're going to look at defensive zone face-offs because that was one of the key skills we were trying to work on throughout the games for both teams was trying to get our defensive zone face-offs more consistent. So let's have a look at some of them. How's that look?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty right, isn't it? What have they done different?
So they've left a defender up really, really high.
They have, haven't they?
Yeah.
Brought one of their D right up onto that attacking line. That's interesting, isn't it? I haven't seen them do that before. What have we done?
So we've got our defender down the back.
Yep. And the
And
two
then-
wingers in pretty much the right spot. See, that catches us a little bit in two minds, doesn't it? Because one of those forwards is going to crash the net. We don't know what the other one's going to do. Or maybe they're both going to crash the net, or maybe they're both going to just stand there. Who knows? Maybe they do and maybe they don't. But it gives out, because the D is supposed to pick up that forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now there's two of them. Like, hang on a sec, what's going on here? And he'd be thinking, I'm supposed to mark up with these, but there's two. Who do I pick? And at that point, I'd probably just pick whichever one was the closest. It's about all you can do. Let's see what happens. Well, one of our wingers moved. What happened to the other one?
He's gone to the face-off.
Yeah. Where's the puck? Not there. Anyway, so we mostly got it, but we still need to work on those wingers, on winger movement. That'll be a bit of a common theme when we look at the setup for the next few face-offs as well. All right, we got the puck out of the zone. That's not a disaster. It was a good piece of dealing with a slightly different setup to that which we're normal, which happens. Maybe they're just trying to confuse us. Or maybe they don't know. I don't know. Personally, if I saw a team lining that up against me, I'm thinking, Ripper, they've made a mistake here. If I get the puck behind those guys, they're in trouble because they've only got one back now, haven't they?
Yep.
And even that one who's back, look how far back he is. Not very far. We get behind them, they're in trouble. We didn't this time, but as a centre, you're thinking, oh, hello. These guys either have some special plan we don't know about, or they're making a terrible mistake. Probably making a terrible mistake. But they got away with it. But it's just it's an interesting thing. So there's always these kind of dynamics about these face-offs. You're never quite sure. But our wingers are in the right spot. Our D's doing the best spot to try and work out what's going on. We just didn't move as quickly off the drop of the puck as we should have. The board side winger there does kind of move, but probably should have started moving a bit faster. Anyway, just an example. What else did the Tigers do of interest? There was one really good one. Who did they play against? It was the Griffins, wasn't it?
Yeah, Griffins.
Yeah, let's have a look at the Griffins goal, because that's an interesting one. This is one of those ones that I'm pretty sure Blake would like to have back, but it happens. You can't expect goalies to be perfect. All right, was that a 1-2-2 forecheck? Or would you call it a 2-1 forecheck? Look at that. What's going on here?
So probably 2-1 forecheck.
Yeah, it's not our game plan, is it?
No.
But I can also understand. I mean, you might be thinking the goalie's come out. Maybe if I get into the slot, I can just tap one in. And so it's not necessarily the wrong decision, just not what we would normally do. When a goalie comes out, if you're not aware of it, they really struggle to pass the puck. That stick of theirs is not really very good at passing. So in that situation, if you can force them to make a dumb pass, then the 1-2-2 can work quite well because you can be sitting up high and waiting for whatever thing come off their stick, which usually won't be very good. It's pretty hard for a goalie to get a decent, especially at this level. Goalies at this level struggle with the stick at the best of times. Anyway, let's see what happens. All right, what's missing here?
Is it how the center's gone up real high?
Yeah, it should be a center. Puck's going over that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
The center should be doing this.
Yeah.
Instead, the center is going for a change. When do you make your changes?
On the attack.
On the rush, not the back
Yeah.
check.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've kind of we've abandoned our post there a little bit. Again, at this stage in your development, we would actually prefer that you get a change than not. But just as going forward, we want to start thinking about, well, hang on a sec, is a defensive pressure here? I can't just nick off. I've got to get back down the middle and cover the space. Because if you have a look at what they've got, they've now got 1-2 forwards on a forecheck. Probably someone else coming in fairly quickly as well. Actually, it might not have been that badly timed to change. We'll see what happens. Like, if you could see the look on his face behind the cage, you'd be like, oh. Blake wants that one back, right? But you can see how easily it happens. Despite the fact we didn't have a center in the middle, on the whole, we did the right thing here. Like defensively, we've set up, we've got a D going over to get the puck, the other one in the slot, right option. Yeah, it's a good thing to do. It's just the center making a change there is probably not the right time for it. Our wingers need to be getting back a little bit quicker. So they're just kind of standing there because we've got the puck here. This winger, right, on our breakout, this winger's job is to be there. This winger's job is to be there. Because the puck's going around that way, isn't it? Yeah. So you know, as a winger, I'm supposed to be backside on the boards, halfway between the top of the facial circle and the blue line. So there, and the other winger is supposed to be ready to do that. That's our plan. That's what we do. Which also means that this winger is back here to cover their player, and this winger is up here again to cover their player. It's getting pretty scribbly, isn't it? So there's more than multiple reasons why we want to be in those positions. Let's kind of step it forward a few frames. Okay, so what happened there, and this is, I'm not sure who that is, I can't read the number. But because our winger wasn't here, that's where the puck's ended up, isn't it? Because we've rimmed it around the back of the puck. We've done exactly the right thing. When there's been a call of over, we've played it over behind the net. Great, exactly the right thing. Winger's not there. Get there. And I'm not quite sure what's going on with the other winger. It's gone all the way over here now. Which when we're rimming the puck out, this winger really wants to be there. But it's that winger positioning that's kind of let us down a little bit in this play. And to his credit, there's a persistent back check, and that shot's taken under a fair bit of pressure. And from a fairly, not the best angle in the world, but it goes in. So you can see how important it is the wingers get back into position, because if we're back there, if that winger, again, I'm not sure who it was, but if we look at where they started, let's just watch this bit of play and see if he had time to get there. Okay, so at this point, it should be obvious where the puck's going. You can see puck's there, that player's on their forehand, they're going to rim the puck. Right? It's one of those things that you should be starting to read by now, and all we're doing is standing still. No, get your ass here, bro, and get it there quickly, because that's where the puck's going to go, and otherwise this guy's going to come across and steal it. And that's what happens. And so we create that shooting opportunity. If the winger had been there, it would have been a much more tightly contested puck, and we might have been able to win it up the other end of the ice and go off and try and score a goal, as opposed to give one away. It's a bit more sophisticated than we would have looked at in the first sort of 3 to 4 weeks of this, but these are the sorts of things that we want to start working on now, just getting better at that wing positioning, because our D are now doing the right thing, which is terrific. They're rimming the puck around the back, they're listening to each other, they're getting calls of up and over. They're mostly occupying the space in front of the slot. These are all really good things. We now need our wingers to start taking responsibility for the top part of the defensive zone more and through the neutral zone as well. So I'm not picking on you guys. It's the stage in the progression of the season where you can start to learn that skill. If that happened in like game 12, we'd be pretty disappointed. At the moment, it's a teaching opportunity. In game 12, it's something that by then you should know. Should. Anyway, they got to go. It happens. Let's look at the good thing that happened. I love this. This is so exciting. I was in the change room with the Jokers at the time. I missed it, which was disappointing because this was great. It's 1-0 to the Griffins. 39.7 seconds to go. Buckle up. So just have a look at where our wingers are. Is that right?
Not quite.
I would have said it was pretty close. They're above the top of the face-off circles, both of them. They're both covering their D, aren't they? They could maybe be a little higher, but they're not down involved in the defense. They're doing the right thing, right? So you imagine there's a line across the rink, across the top of the face-off circles, kind of giving him a bit of a squiggle there. But the idea is that the wingers, is like, for example, Ben here is doing a pretty good job of being on a straight line between that guy and the goal, isn't it? Might not necessarily be conscious, but certainly this snapshot, it looks good. And the same thing here, this one, if you draw a straight line from there to there, guess who's in the way? That's pretty good. I like that. Oh, loose puck. Straight down the middle quickly. Love it. Bang. Take a shot. Take the shot. Yeah, oh, look, they go in sometimes. With a second to go on the clock. Griffins must have been spewing about that one, but oh well. We got a draw where we might have possibly got a loss. But like a number of things happened there. Probably the key one is again, it's the wingers and what they did. So we watched that play. The wingers know at this point, at least you should know, that the best escape route is to go straight up the middle if you can. Right? They mishandle the puck. We pick it up. We're on the gas. Number 2 for the Griffins does exactly the right thing there, I think. Not much else he could do, but it's good. Shot in the air. Bobby Orr scores the goal. What a beauty. Anyway, that was really exciting. So don't worry, Tigers, it wasn't all bad. But there's a lot of things that we can work on. Something that was happening earlier, and I'll need to talk to Matheson a bit about this, just have a look at the defensive play in the first little bit. You know, we're talking about one player doing everything. All right, so at that point, our D probably could have gone and contested that puck a little bit tighter. So if we wind that back just a couple of frames, you can see the puck's in there. We've got a D who could probably go and get it. But instead, we choose not to. Now, that's a choice, and that's okay. It's not necessarily the wrong choice, but it's just something to be mindful of. Let's see what happens. Right. At that point, we're just kind of standing still waiting for it. We could have put a bit more pressure on that player. So more pressure on them, not necessarily going right up in their face, but sort of skating up to here and stopping. And then active stick. Or if we think we can get there first, go get the puck. And if you think you can get there first, you go get it. Well, there's Matheson on one side. Puck goes around the back. And then there's Matheson on the other side. Now, he does create the turnover. So from the point of view of the gameplay, it's not necessarily a bad choice. But what I'd prefer to have seen him done is at that point, yell out to his D to go put pressure on the player. And him stay in the slot. No necessarily right or wrong answer there. It's just we want to start to encourage everyone to be involved in those plays, not just sort of sitting back and watching someone else do it. That's that whole trust your teammates thing and let them learn. But the puck comes out and off we go, which is good. I'll show you another example of something similar to that. This happened in a game a couple of weeks ago. I'll just pull it up because it's not in the usual spot. It's in a Yabbies game. Is this the one? You get a lot of goals scored against us. That's not the one. Sorry. Yeah, here we go. This is another example of why the winger needs to be ready to skate up the middle of the ice. This is actually quite a valuable one to look at. It's from a game that I was playing in 2 weeks ago, I think. Just have a look at what happens here. And there's a bunch of things that we did wrong, and by we I mean my team, not you guys. Let's just have a look at this. What's wrong there to start with?
One of the wingers below the circle.
Yep. How many of that's rock lobsters in the red? How many rock lobsters are in deep?
3 of them. Well, technically 4.
I would have said 4. Yeah. So there's only one D back, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Have a look at. Just pay attention to what this winger here does. Their winger. Right. Just watch what he does. We do another really, really dumb thing here. That's okay. We all do dumb stuff. I was sitting on the bench watching this going, oh my God, I can't believe it. What's just happened? It's all gone pixelated, but apart from it all going pixelated, what's just happened?
They just got the puck around them, and the one that was marked on him skated for the change. So he's just got a completely clear path.
Yep.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah.
Anyway, so like a whole heap of things went wrong there. It's I don't know if any of you are familiar with the thing called the Swiss cheese model, but the Swiss cheese model, we use it in aviation a lot, and it's about if for a disaster to happen, a lot of things have to go wrong, not just one thing. So a lot of things went wrong in that play. We had 4 players in deep. We had a D decide to make the change when they were on the rush, and no one came on for that change. So he actually went over the bench and got off the ice, but no one got on. You probably didn't notice it because you were watching the other bit of the play, but that happened as well. Plus the other D pinched to get a puck, which she couldn't get. The goalie hesitated on the charge. He probably should have come out earlier to poke check that puck. He probably would have got there first if he hadn't waited. Like a bunch of stuff went wrong. It wasn't just one thing. And that happens with every goal that gets scored against us, and every goal we score is not because one thing went wrong, it's because a bunch of things go wrong. So the more we can fix each individual aspect of our play, the more we can break that chain of events, which leads to a scoring opportunity, or create a chain of events that leads to a scoring opportunity. So it's not just one mistake, it's like a whole heap of mistakes. And that one there is an example. Like I can see about 5 mistakes before we go anywhere further into it. And fixing any one of those things would probably have solved the problem in the first place. Just getting the change on for the D that came off would have been nice. If he had gone off and someone else had to come on, instead of him going off and no one going on. Ah, where's your change, mate? Oh, am I supposed to be on the ice now? Yes, you are. But it was, anyway. So yeah, enough of that. Let's have a look at the stuff that happened in the rest of our game. There's quite a few. There's one here. The Jokers had a couple of, I mean, a lot of things in the first period were pretty unpleasant for us, but we did some things pretty well. We've already seen the long D. And I also kind of just recorded the entirety of the first period as a separate breakout. We might put that up somewhere if you want to see it. It's kind of like, wow, we actually survived that onslaught pretty well. They got 18 shots to none in the first period. 18 shots in the first period. And half of them were in that last 3 minutes. By golly, Cat did a great job. Cat was outstanding in that game. But our decor on the whole did a really good job of mostly making those shots come from bad places. Something we've got to fix. Right. And I'm not picking on you here, Alison, but I want you to have a look at this and see what happened. Because this wasn't a goal, but this is just something that we want to be mindful of in terms of being a team. So have a look at this on the top down. So puck's underneath Cat in that situation. There's one of them and 3 of us, isn't there?
Yep.
Don't let him do that. Right. So Alison, you're in the right place. You just need to be a bit more fierce.
Noted. Yep.
I don't mean punch him in the face. Although in that situation, if they're going to hate your goalie, it's kind of justified. But
Wait.
Get out, don't do my goalie, right? So goalies are kind of protected. You always look after your goaltender, which again doesn't mean you go whack someone in the face, but it does mean you get in their face, and you just put yourself in the way and push them back. That part of the ice is an area where fair push and shove is okay. All right. So what I mean by that is you can't trip someone up and you can't hook them and you can't slash them. But what you can do is you can put your hand on their hip and push them. And you can stand right in their face, nose to nose. So all they can see is you. Say, hi, I'm right here. So they can't think about anything else except getting away from you, which is that's like, this is our space. This is our space in front of our goalie. You don't have it. It's mine, right? Get out. And if you don't get out, I'm going to make you get out. Right? It's part of the game. Anyone played basketball?
Yeah, I did a long time ago.
Yeah. What happens when when the opposition's under the net? What do you do?
Beat the shit out of them.
Well,
Yeah.
Put your,
Nah,
put your elbow in their back.
yeah, you get rough with them.
You own the space.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to be physically assertive. Again, it doesn't mean you play dirty. It doesn't mean you start whacking them with a stick or punching them or anything like that. What it does mean, though, is you push them out of the way. This is our spot. That's our goalie. That's our goal. You're not standing here. I'm not going to let you. Now, that takes a bit of confidence, and we'll work on that. So, Alison, I don't know if you can get to any public sessions, but let me know. We might do a little bit of just gentle push and shove, just so you kind of get a bit more confidence on your edges. Just let me know if you can do it, and we'll see if we can.
I'm happy to do it with her because me, her, and Beck go skating together
Appropriate
sometimes.
push and shove, Michael.
Yeah. I won't have a repeat of my game. I promise.
Appropriate.
Not with my
It'll
friends.
just be-
Yeah.
It'll just be you sitting in the penalty box during a public session,
Yeah.
Michael.
It happens.
We'll see if we can work on it. So let me know when if we can, and I'll see if I can make it along, and we'll see what we can do about just kind of just working some of those little skills about how to be a menace in the net, but a good menace. You know what I mean? All right. Let's. I mean, you're a big, strong girl. Let's use your size and strength. And if we can, you'll be very effective. Like
Cool. Sounds good.
Piss off. They should be a little bit scared of you. Not terrified, not like you're going to go axe murder or something, but right. So Labo, the Joker's had some pretty good ones. There was some defensive zone face-offs which we want to do a bit better at. There was a breakout with the right side when you're in the right place. So let's have a look at this one. All of these videos I've like put here for a reason, so we can try and work out why I put them here. Something else too. What I'm doing now is I'm putting all of the videos, and I have been doing it all season, putting all of the videos up in a single post on the Facebook group. What I want you guys to start doing is looking at those videos and then putting comments after the video saying why you think that video is there, because they're all chosen for a reason. They're not just random. There's a teaching point or multiple teaching points in each one of those videos. So what I'd like you to start doing is doing that. And I've got some little plastic, because I've now got a 3D printer. Stand still for just a second. I'll go get one to show you what I mean.
Anyone just not stand still, just because I'm curious.
Say that again, mate.
Is anyone not sitting still now? Because he asked us to. Just curious.
I'm constantly moving.
Yeah, so am I. Remember, these sessions are recorded, so this is now on the video.
Yes, it is.
I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, but it's kind of private. Anyway, can you all see that?
Stanley Cup, let's go.
Stanley Cup, yeah. So that whoever comes up with the best set of answers each week will get one of these.
Amazing.
So there's your prize. All right.
But we're playing for something.
That's pretty good incentive.
I will do something to get you buggers to engage. Anyway, if it means I have to flog my 3D printer all night, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So yeah, please do look at each one of the videos, because you don't have time to go through all of them. We're already up to 45 minutes, and we've only been through like 3 or 4 videos. And there's a whole heap of them there, but they're all chosen for a reason. They're chosen because there's some teaching point in that particular video that you can benefit from for where we are, what's happening with our gameplay, and so forth. Whoever comes up with the best set each week, and I'm the judge. It's entirely up to me. It gets one of these little plastic Stanley Cups, which will be presented at the next game. Right?
So you're talking about the videos you put up on the Facebook page, yeah?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, sweet.
So
Yeah,
I
no
post
worries.
them, like the ones for today are already there. If you've had a look, you'll see that there's a little thing there at the moment that says,
Oh yeah, I see them.
I'll just reload the page.
Is that with the video we'll be looking at tonight?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's 17 videos, 17 or 18 videos or whatever. So have a look at them all and just see if you could, and just put a comment in for each one for why you think that particular video was chosen. And it can be a funny thing as well. I don't mind. You can put jokes in there. I'm fine with that. And whichever one I think is the best collection of answers for each particular week, we'll get a little plastic Stanley Cup.
All right.
Which you can then throw in the bin if you don't want it. But anyway.
I'm gonna helmet mount it.
One of you ends up with all of them. It's a bit disappointing. But at the same time, the idea is to get you guys looking at these things and trying to work out what's happening in these things. And sometimes they're good things. Sometimes they're examples of what you're doing well. Sometimes they're examples of things that we need to continue to work on. So that's kind of why they're all going in there. So they are curated for a reason. And you can start with last week's one if you want, because I did the same thing. Now, Mr. Preezy, did you see the picture I put up there of you?
Yeah,
You know why that's there?
because I'm dumb as dog shit.
No.
I made a
not at all.
bad mistake.
You're just in the wrong spot. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
it just means you're in the wrong spot.
Oh, but I am though.
I'll show everyone the picture because we probably
Yeah, go on.
I'll see if I can track it down. Wasn't this play, was it? Was it this play? No, that was around that was a wraparound.
I was in a bad position.
Just not where we would normally want you to be, that's all.
Yeah,
it might
too
take-
far back.
Yeah, it's going to take me too long to find the video, but I can find the picture. Just bear with me for a sec while I share the image. Because a lot of this just boils down to where am I in the face-off? And you know whose responsibility it is to make sure you're in the right place at the face-off?
The center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lazy centers.
I almost thought it was going to be another one of those catch up everybody's fucking thing, like in the change room.
So that's the situation there. So there's Michael sitting way up here. Michael should be here.
Yeah.
About 3 meters closer to the net. Right as close as you can get.
Yeah.
Without the referee saying, "Oi, you're too close." So you're in line with the hash marks. And the
You
reason
wanted to go for the running slapper.
you're not allowed to slap shot in this division. But you can't anyway.
You're also not allowed to check. Haha. Well.
But you are allowed to contest.
Yeah, true.
Not-
True.
I pulled over 2 people in my last game.
But
yeah, I should have, so I can crash the net faster. It takes me too long where I am.
You're giving them a head start.
Yeah.
Don't give them a head start. You're slow enough as it is. Don't make it any easier for them.
Yeah.
We all are. None of us are quick enough. If you give your opponent a head start, don't give them a head start. It's the same thing with the D. We're still doing it at the moment. We've still got a few D who are, instead of lining up, they're sitting back. So what I really liked about that earlier face-off that I showed you all was that our D were right up on that line and ready to go. So there was that one where they had the forward up high, which was the Tigers one, wasn't it? Let's have a look at some of the Tigers defensive zone face-offs and just see what was happening. Because these are, again, this is what we're trying to work on this week. So we want to see if we can get it a little bit better. Have a look at this one. Maybe this is the same one, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is the same one. So winger trying to be a bit too keen. But the point there is that we've got those 3 players up here on the line ready to do their job, and the 4th D is sitting back there. So that's the right setup. That's where they want to be. That's good. On the other hand, where are our jokers? Going on here.
Oh, they're a long way out.
Wingers are okay. What's the Bills plan here, do you think, by the way? What are they setting up for?
Just a one-timer.
Yeah, is that a really risky play?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen that, haven't we? We've seen what happens when that goes wrong. I'm showing you a video of if that pass goes back to 39 or whatever it is, and he fluffs it for some reason, or we just get a pad in the way, there's no one back. That's a goal, or at least a really good breakaway.
Yeah.
But what's happening here with this lineup of our players?
The D is dropped too back, back too far.
Not doing anything there. That's out of the play.
Yeah.
So really, looking at this situation, that winger, it doesn't really matter if they're a little bit wide. That's okay. This winger should be here, ready to go voomp. And this D should be ready to take that player out in their face, like Yvette did last week. Remember how well Yvette did that one against the Griffins? She did that superbly well. I did it again this week as well. But our D, I think that's Michelle, is just kind of sitting back on that back post, and it's not helping. It's not particularly useful there at all. If anything, she's going to deflect in a shot and score an own goal. So really should be up high on the line, ready to take that guy out just by going straight to his stick. So if you're a winger and you see her back there, or you see any D back there, say, hey, up here, come on. Or you. Because we forget. Okay. Collective responsibility. Let's all get it right. Let's see what actually happens. Whoops. I think we go into the box here. We're doing two. But apart from that, and it might have been accidental, let's have a look. And let's have a look at what our wingers do here. We've got one in and two staying high. What's that?
I was on my way to talk to him for what he did.
Yeah, but what's just happened?
We weren't close enough to him. We left him alone.
Yeah, but no, what's the play? What are you actually seeing the setup? You might not have meant to do it, but what's happened?
I don't know.
It's a forecheck. What sort of forecheck is it?
I'm not sure.
1,
Two.
2.
Oh yeah.
That's a 1-2-2 forecheck.
Yeah.
Now you didn't mean to do it.
It just worked out.
But it just worked out like that. That's our play. That's what we want to try and do. Whether or not we meant it, you can do it by accident. I can't tell the difference.
No, I meant it. I meant it.
And I tell you what else can't tell the difference: the goal.
Yeah.
Goal doesn't care how the puck ended up in there. It just went in. So that led on to, now the Tigers didn't have a penalty kill, I think. By golly, the Jokers did. Let's have a look at it. I think we had 2 penalty kills. We'll do the 2 penalty kills, then we'll call it a night. Jokers penalty kill 1. Here we go. Parisi's fault. He was in the box for this one.
My bad.
Yeah, you're bad. This is it too. Watch this. Oh, you goon.
I slipped, sort of.
Righto.
Yeah.
2 minutes, boarding or interference or something. Whatever it was.
I'm pretty sure it was an interference call.
It'll be on hockey side.
Oh,
So
okay.
what do we know about penalty kills? They always start with the defensive zone face-off, don't they? Except we can't really do the same thing we normally do because we have to box it up and defend the spot. Let's have a look at how we set up. How's that look?
I'd probably drop the D from behind the circle and put them in front of the goal because it doesn't matter as much if it goes behind, but they've left the right side open.
That might not be a bad option. I certainly wouldn't have 2 of them back like that.
Yeah.
That's terribly useful.
Yeah.
And you need your winger, because in this situation, you've got 2 forwards and 2 D. And the difference between like the winger and a centre becomes less important. So when you set up the penalty kill, the way we do it, you're going to have 2 and 2 essentially. You've got 2 forward and 2 back.
Yeah.
2 back or 2 could either be a D, but if one of the D's sitting in the box, it becomes a centre.
Yeah.
And if it's a winger who's in the box, then the centre becomes a forward. And if it's a centre who's in the box, then it's 2D and 2 wingers. And that's just how we do it. We don't run anything special about that. That's just that the centre fills the gap unless the centre is the one who's been kicked out. So centres need to be able to do all of that. But in a penalty kill, it's relatively simple. You hold the box. Well, let's see how we go. How's that box looking?
Not good.
Not very good, is it?
No.
That's a box that's been squished. It's now someone's been jumping on the cardboard box and it's all just turned into a line. And what else did we do?
Went behind the
We went
net.
behind the net. Oh, no, don't do that. Anyway, we get away with it. It's your fault, Parisi. You're in the box. You set this
I
up.
know, I know.
Whee! Yeah, it goes. That's all right. Now we get a chance to set up and kind of get ourselves under control. How's that looking for a box? Now we've had time to kind of get a bit organized.
Still not good.
It's getting there though, isn't it? It's getting
Yeah, better than it was.
there. Now what have we got again?
All squished.
What did we just do?
Behind the net
It's
again.
behind it again. No Stanley Cup for you. Finally. No, it's still in the zone. Now look at our box.
It's just a flat box on
It's
a
not
different
box, is
angle.
it?
Yeah.
It's not a box. Oh, what a mess. Anyway. How's that looking?
That's better.
Getting better, isn't it? Still want to
Yeah.
see the winger a little higher and the
Yeah.
D a little higher as well. So for where they are there at the moment, you really want to have the D probably here and the forward up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that D's responsibility is this area, and that forward's responsibility is that area. And the other forward's responsibility is that area, and this D's responsibility is that area. I'm really bad at drawing squares with a mouse on Zoom. Okay, but you're kind of owning that particular bit of space.
That's also not a square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
around about 2090, I should be pretty good at drawing squares in Zoom.
I'm praying for you.
Not going to help. Get that puck out of the zone. Come on. Look at that box. What box? Nah. All right, Yvette's going to go fix it now. Yep. Well done. Finally, someone clears the puck out of the zone. Yvette, that's you again. Yeah, now we've got time to get our box organised, haven't we? Sort of. Yeah, at least we clear the zone, so that's all right. Now look at our box. What are these wingers? What are these forwards doing?
Chasing up way too far.
Yeah, both of them. One maybe,
Yeah.
two no.
Yeah.
Right. Our D are now in the right spot. That's looking pretty good. They're going for a change. Our change was a bit slow there, wasn't it? How quick do you think a change needs to be on a penalty kill?
Very fast.
Very fast. That was not a very fast change, was it? You can hear a coach yelling out, go, 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 get on the ice, go, go, go. Like, oh, yeah, I'll just wander on over. No, get there quickly. There's a big gap. That lineup of mistakes and things that go wrong. We made a couple of mistakes, but not enough of them lined up. So that's all right. Come on, send the puck to Moe. Let's get it out of the zone. That's better. Now we have time to get it organised. Let's see if we do. How's that looking?
That's a lot better.
Yeah, that's more like it, isn't it? Look at where our D are. Perfect. That's right where they should be. Wingers, yeah, we'll work on that. But the D is right in the right spot. They're on those hash marks, owning that space. We've driven the puck out. We've had time to get organised. The pressure's been relieved briefly. I think it's new players on the ice. We force them wide. And then we'll collapse down deep again. Come on. Now what's going on?
All collapsed once
Yeah,
again.
it's completely collapsed, hasn't it? And what's that done for
Yeah.
them?
Left them with multiple shooting options.
Yep.
Open them up.
So the one here who's
Mhm.
dangerous is this
The one that, yeah, deep right.
That's the dangerous one
Yeah.
because there should at least be a player here. And
Yeah.
they've all just gone. We've all gone puck chasing. Now, to be fair, it's like 3 seconds to go in a 2-minute penalty kill. We're pretty tired. Our brains have gone to mush. But these are things we need to keep improving. Yep, goes to him. Fortunately, he hasn't got a good shot. And we survive the penalty. Okay, so we mostly tried to do the right thing. They put good pressure on us. They've actually got a pretty good power play, which is very unusual in Div 9. They actually pass the puck around to each other in a power play. I don't think I've ever seen that in Div 9 before, but anyway, I haven't seen much in the other grade either for that point. Up until you start getting up into the higher grades, you tend not to see that level of sophistication. But they did that quite well. But yeah, that's an example of a penalty kill which worked, even though we kind of sabotaged it a bit ourselves. But at least we maintained the fundamental idea. And the fundamental idea is we have to own the space in front of the net. We didn't do it perfectly, but on the whole, we stayed there. And on the whole, we kept that mostly our territory. And we had a little bit of luck. But that's okay. You need a little bit of luck to survive a penalty kill as well. Right, but lots that we can work on. So we did the penalty kill in the very first game, and I kept reminding you guys there's going to be a lot of repetition throughout this season. Why is there going to be a lot of repetition throughout this season?
So it drills it into us so we remember.
Yeah, exactly. Because under pressure, it falls apart, and it's only repetition that helps.
Yeah.
And it has to be repetition under pressure. Anyone can do it when there's no one around and you've got plenty of time. That's easy. Stand here. Okay, I can do that. Stand here while stuff's going on. Oh, what? We had one guy a few years ago who didn't actually play for us, but came to some of our training sessions. We used to run a mixed training session called Game Sense. And he was a winger. And we set up a defensive zone face-off. And you all, if I put someone in a defensive zone face-off and then stand next to them and say to them, right, on the drop of the puck, regardless of where the puck goes, this is what you do, you're probably going to be able to do it. Not this guy. I would actually say, right, because 3 or 4 times in a row, we just go skating off puck chasing. And say, right, this is your position. What you need to do when the puck is dropped, you're going to skate from here to there. And that's all you're going to do, nothing else. Yep, okay. And then I would skate through it with him and we'd demonstrate it to him and say, right, you and I, we're going to do it together. See, puck drops, we skate off here, and this is the line we're going to follow, and that's all we have to do. Just see if we can get that right. And then I'd step away from beside him and they'd drop the puck and he'd just skate off in some other random direction.
Unfortunate.
He still does it. I think he's still playing it. He's fast. He was really quick, like good individual skills and really fast, like incredibly quick guy. Just random, absolutely random. There was no connection between here and what the body was doing. Anyway, let's have a look at the last power play before we wind up for the night, because the second one was quite an interesting one. It wasn't this time Parisi's fault. Sorry for picking on you, but it's kind of fun. You get the job.
Go for it, man.
You got a sense of humor, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I get picked on all the time when it's me stuff. So I do it a lot. All right, let's have a look at this one. How's that set up look?
That's all right. It's not too
I
bad.
like that. That's pretty good. The D's in a pretty useful position. The wingers are ready to move up to where they need to be. They're not doing anything particularly unusual in this situation. Their D are up high. I think they're a bit cautious now. It's only a 2-goal margin with 6 minutes to go. They want to be a little bit more careful. How's that looking?
Not so good.
Yeah, what's
Forward
gone
the
wrong
puck.
there?
Everyone went right.
Yeah, we all went puck chasing.
Fuck chasing.
Now they've got a player loose in a really dangerous position, haven't they?
Yep.
Yeah, we better get back there in a hurry. Thank you, Kat. You saved us. Let's have another go at that and see if we can't sort it out. Now, what do they do here? What do you see?
Communication.
What did the big deals do here that makes no sense?
Or 4 of them on the ice.
Now let's have a look. I'll make it really, really obvious. Make that even more obvious so you can see in a better color. Black doesn't help. Ready? What's happening?
Oh, they're wasting time.
They're wasting time. Look how much
Yeah.
time they waste. They're on the power play.
Yeah.
They've just given away 25 seconds of power play. The clock doesn't stop, guys.
Yeah.
We'll take that. Thank you very much. You want to run the
Yeah.
clock out on a power play? Go for it. Take as much time as you want. We're the ones who want to stop it. We're the ones who want to be delaying and stalling and bending down to do up a shoelace or dropping your stick or like across the front of the face-off circle or anything you can to, grab another 5 seconds off the clock. and they just saunter over, saunter back. It's like, you're on a power play. Just giving it back. Okay, you don't want it. Fine. I'm happy with that. Bills, anyway. Maybe they meant it. Maybe they're being nice. Right, how did that setup look?
Not too bad
Yeah.
either.
Pretty good. It's all
Yeah.
right. Let's see if we can maintain it.
Puck chasing again.
Thoughts?
That's not
It's getting there, isn't it?
horrible, but
It's getting there. We've got a change going on.
yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens when we challenge high?
You get
We get
passed.
beaten. We just challenged high and we got beaten. Every time. Don't worry, it'll happen every time. Better get back. How's the rest of that setup though?
It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, the D's up maybe a little higher just
Yeah,
then.
but you can
or-
move up and back a little bit. You don't have to move back to
Yeah.
that hash mark spot until the pressure comes right in. If
Yeah,
we get more
fair.
sophisticated, it won't happen this season, but it might start to happen later on. Certainly later on as you play hockey and you develop more skill and you do get better at moving around. Typically,
Mm.
what you do is you start off with the penalty kill with a 3-1.
Yep.
So you'll have 3 players, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th player up forechecking.
Okay.
Now we can't do that yet. There's just no way.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
disintegrate and they get behind us. But then what happens, and because one of the reasons why it doesn't work very well until you really understand the basic pattern, is you then need to turn that back into either a box or a diamond. So
Yeah,
2 of
okay,
these
yeah.
players are going to have to get back to somewhere here and somewhere here, and this one's going to have to get back to probably here very
Mm.
quickly.
Yeah.
Because the idea behind this is with our particular penalty kill, we give away zone entry. So what I mean by a zone entry is, and it's a conscious decision, it's not an accident, we're doing this deliberately, right? And a zone entry is when the puck crosses the blue line, right? When we have a box set up, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're just giving that away. We're letting them into the zone. It's like, yep, come in. There's a couple of reasons for that. What do you think some of them might be?
Not gonna lie, I kind of zoned out for a second. Can you please repeat that?
Sure, absolutely. Why do we let our opponents have the zone entry on our penalty kill by default?
For the reason of being passed. If you challenge at our skill level, you're more likely to get
Yeah,
beaten.
partially. That's one of them. What else?
So we can set up in our box so they
Yep.
can't get a good shot.
Yeah, we set the box up. So it's a static box rather than being a bit more dynamic. We don't have the skill for that yet.
Offside reasons.
Yeah, they get caught offside all the time, don't they?
Yeah.
The Deals did
Yeah.
a pretty good job of not getting caught offside, but most of the other teams will. They'll skate in, we give away the zone entry, and one of them is going to skate over the blue line because they're not paying attention. Bingo,
Yeah.
offside.
Yeah.
Great. or they just look at it and they don't know what to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they waste more time, which is again is what we want. We want them to waste time in that instance. So there's some good reasons for giving that up at the moment. But later on, you don't actually want your opponents to have a free zone entry if you can avoid it, and we let them have that. Again, it's deliberate. We're not. It's a conscious decision. It's not an accident. We know exactly why we're doing this. But as you move up through the grades and you start getting better at just reading the game and moving, and hopefully having teams that are organised to do it, because to do a collapsing 3-1 into a box or a diamond requires that you practice it and that you know what you're doing and everyone's rehearsed it a bit. Otherwise, it's not going to work. We don't have time to do that. And I've tried to do it with teams at higher levels, and to be honest, they don't get it either. It's hard enough getting a Div 5 team to do a box. You might think, hey, well, these guys have been playing for years. Surely they know. No. So anyway, it can be a bit frustrating. I tried to teach a 3-1 collapse into a box or collapse into a diamond defense to the teams that went over to Kaha to the Canada Cup Canada thing 2 summers ago. Wasn't going to happen. And that's who players have been playing for 3 or 4 years. Fancied themselves as being pretty good. No, just wasn't going into their brains. They couldn't learn it, not with the amount of time that we had to practice it anyway. So you'll see it in the NHL. Pay attention to how they do zone entries in the NHL and how they try and get around that sort of 3-1 collapsing setup. It's really valuable to watch it because that blue line becomes a real point of contention. And if they can't get a good zone entry, they start doing funky things like skating in and passing to wingers behind them and drop passes and rim shots and all sorts of stuff to get around that wall. We're not ready for that, nowhere near it. So don't try it just yet. Anyway, get back to this one. We're nearly finished. Rabbiting on. What's going on with this box? Who's number 95?
Well, it's half open. He's above the blue line.
Should be here. Whoever that is. Like everyone else is doing it. The rest of the guys should be, hey, get back in your box. Oh, okay. What's that again? Bang, fire the cannon. Off she goes, all the way to Moe. Now, if you are going to do that forecheck, and I'm not saying don't do it, if you're a forward and you feel confident enough to put a forechecking pressure on a power play, on a penalty kill, it's okay to do it. But there's something you have to be really mindful of. And what do you think that is?
Your teammates' positioning.
Yeah, something else.
Your ability to get back in time if it fails.
Your ability to get back when it fails.
Yeah.
Most of the time it will. There's only one of you and there's 5 of them. They get one pass, get beaten, right? So it's, the likelihood of it being successful is fairly low. What you are trying to do is disrupt their breakout. You're not trying to score a goal unless you've actually got possession and you're in a rush. Forget trying to score a goal in that circumstance. It's not going to happen. But what you can do is you can disrupt their play and delay them. And that's really what's happening here. So this is, again, if we were talking sort of higher level players, what you'd see happening at that stage. And again, we're not ready to do it, but just to show you what it would look like so you can kind of, have a bit of wishful thinking. Like maybe one day we can do this. You would have, at that point, you've got your one player down here doing the forecheck, yeah? You have 1, 2, 3. 3-1, yeah? Or 1-3, depending on how you want to look at it. You want to be consistent with the 1, 2, 3 forecheck. And this player's job in that situation is to just break this up. I wouldn't go too close to that guy. You just want to skate along here and be ready to come back up the middle. Don't overcommit, because if they get past you, now it's 5-on-3. I don't want 5-on-3. 5-on-3 is harder to defend against. Okay, so if you are that forward, don't go deep. Circle in high, just put a bit of pressure on them, just enough to break up whatever it is they're trying to set up and just make them just do dumb stuff because now they're under pressure. Because they'll do dumb stuff. But if you're that forward, you've got to be mindful that you don't overcommit. which means when they get past you, what don't you do?
Don't change.
You don't coast.
Oh, yeah, right.
You haul ass. You've been beaten.
Yeah.
You get back quick, right? We are not coasting back. If you're the forward, if you want to be a forward and go off and do that, do an aggressive forecheck on a penalty kill, that's okay. But you better have wheels. You be able to get better be able to get back. Otherwise, we're in trouble, and the whole structure is broken, and we've got nothing to fix it with.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't have a problem with it being done, but you must haul ass to get back. You must not just, I'll just cruise on back now. It's all good. Right. Okay, that's not so bad, but how's this looking?
Not great again.
Yeah, it's getting there. We've just made a change. It's like we've been out for a while, so it's a good opportunity to get the change. The puck went down the other end. Those changes have to be faster, but we know that.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we doing now? Please tell me you're not going for change.
I actually spoke to him about this after the game.
Right, we've done an aggressive forecheck, we've coasted back, and now we've gone for a change when the puck's back in our zone.
Mm-hmm.
When we need 4. Right? Really good teaching opportunity. Just don't do that, right? If you're on the forecheck, get a change. That's when you've got time to, and make them quick. But here's the thing. We killed the penalty, and that's all right.
Yeah.
So that's okay. We had 2 power plays against us that was actually time on the clock. And in both cases, we successfully killed the penalty. We had a little bit of luck, but mostly we remembered that fundamental thing, own the space in front of the net. So stuff from tonight, defensive zone face-offs, we know we've got a lot of work to do to get them more consistent. We know what to do now, or at least most of us do. We need to make sure that everyone knows. And the same thing with the penalty kill. So if we get our D-zone face-off working more reliably, we get our penalty kill rock solid, and we get our wingers moving laterally on the breakout instead of staying across on the wrong side all the time, which they're still doing, which is normal. It takes time to learn that, and we'll become much more competitive. And we can beat the big deals. Even though they've got those 4 superstars who are too good for the grade, we can beat them. Both teams are capable of it. We just need to get those patterns right. If we get the patterns right, we're very hard to score against. We might not score many goals because we don't have a lot of really good goal scorers. But we get shots on the net and we make sure they don't. Or if they do, they're from bad angles. And then we're really competitive. It'll take a couple more weeks, but as long as we keep thinking about it and keep working on our individual skills and just keep going through this stuff, then that will start to happen more and more and more. And what we see around about this stage, just kind of week 5, week 6 is when it starts to gel for you guys as teams. And we've certainly seen that. I think Luke made the observation earlier that everyone's starting to sort of skate together well now and actually understand each other's play. And that's absolutely true. So we just want to get better at doing it. And that's it's a hive mind thing. We've all got to get it. We've all got to help each other with it. Okay. Any other questions or anything like that for this evening session before we shut it down?
I have an unrelated question to
Okay.
what is there like any policy on wearing like a GoPro on my helmet so that I can
Don't do
review
it.
foot? Don't do it?
Don't do it.
No, okay. Any particular reason, just out of curiosity?
It's right up there with tinted visors and wearing number 69.
Ah, fair enough. Fair call.
I won't let you do it.
That's
That
fair
stupid thing
enough.
off your hat. It doesn't help either. The video you get from isn't particularly useful.
That's fair. That's fair. Thank you.
The top-down stuff is more valuable. We've been trying to get Phil, who does the ring tech stuff. We've been trying to get him, and I think he's one of those guys that if you kind of slowly chip away at him, eventually works out that it's a good idea, and then he does it. We want top-down video for the entire rink.
That'd be invaluable.
Which was because they've got it for the goals.
Yeah.
You can get top-down vision on the goals, which is fantastic. It's really handy. We'd actually like top-down for the whole rink. It's a bit harder to set up because there's issues with perspective and trying to get coverage and so forth.
Yeah.
But the cameras are pretty cheap. And I think I'll just keep kind of chipping away at Phil, saying, "Hey, Phil, this would be really handy. Hey, Phil, imagine if we had this. This would be really good for the Pro League." And I tell you what, the Ducks team, would, like, I reckon the Ducks would find this pretty useful. What do you think? Weeks later, oh, guess what I did, guys? We've got all these new cameras on the roof. Thanks, Phil. So yeah. Anyway, anything else? We're all good. So yeah, Alison, get in touch with me. Let me know when you can get to the rink. We'll do some work on that. Just being assertive in front of the net. I'm not sure when you can get to public sessions, but you can do it in a public session. Doesn't have to be anything particularly special. Just let me know. Just send me a message on Facebook or something.
Yep, no worries.
And yeah, thank you all for attending. Good turnout tonight, 10 of you. So that's pretty good. Remember, you look at the videos, put comments up on the videos for what you're trying to learn from each one of them, and the best ones get a Stanley Cup. Not like Boston. We haven't had one since 2011. Been in 3 finals since then.
They say better than the Ducks, mate.
Hell of a lot better than the Leafs. That's all I care about. Just beat the Leafs. Whatever you do, just beat the bloody Leafs. I don't care about anything else. Alrighty. I will see you guys on. We're playing on Saturday, aren't we?
Yeah.
Saturday
Yep.
night. Yeah, it's late Saturday, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, we got the big deals after that.
Something and
performance.
10 something horrible. So yeah, it's a late night on Saturday night.
I'm a bit
Just
scared
so
of the
you know
big deals, I'll be
too,
honest.
Thursday night is Jane's birthday. Feel free to send her a happy
Oh,
birthday.
true. Don't be scared, mate. Like Carl said, just focus on that strategy, and you know,
Not the
as long as
birthday.
you get, yeah, that too.
The deals.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're beatable.
Oh yeah.
They
But
are
the
beatable. We just need to do everything right to beat them. And that's hard. It's hard to do everything right. But if we do, we've had seasons like this against them in the past where they've started off the season, they've just been whipping everyone. We've beaten them in the grand final.
that sounds good.
So it can be done. Just because you just got to play better as a team.
I'll get my fat ass body in front of them, in front of goal. Why I got the bulk, right?
You want to be a goalie, do you?
Genuinely, yeah, I do.
Next season, we're going to need one. Well, because Cap will definitely have to go up, and so will Blake. So next season, we're looking for 2 goalies. So
All
anyone
right,
who does want to have a
well.
go in net, now is the time to start thinking about it.
All right, well, I'll have a chat to you about it anyway.
Be aware that, you know how we think goalie's pretty hard? Because it is. Take that and magnify it by 10, and then you're about halfway close to how hard it is. Goalie's really hard. It's a very, very physically demanding position. Because you don't get a rest, and you got to get up and get down and get up and get down and move and move and move and move and move. It doesn't look like it, but it's really, really tough. I don't know how goalies do it.
So I've heard. And then you also see them take their helmet off after the game, and you're like, oh my God.
Just nailed. Anyway, we'll see you guys on Saturday, unless some of you are coming along to Friday night to watch the Women's Pro League. Highly recommended. It's really good. It's a great show, and it'll be a good game this Friday night. Or
What time is it?
7:30. It's
I
free.
might actually make, because I'm working
Yep.
until about 6:30 or 7 Friday. So yeah, that might
It's
actually
a
come down.
freebie, and
after.
it's a good show. They play really good. I mean, you're watching some of the best women hockey players in the country.
Who's playing?
This week it's the Snipers and the Inferno, so it'll be an interesting one.
Oh, so Denise is in.
She'll be actually she's out. She's injured.
Oh, okay.
She
yeah.
copped a skate in
Oh
the
no.
face.
She what? She copped a skate
Copped a skate
where?
in the face.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like she's got a cage, so it wasn't
Ah.
but last night's game,
Yeah.
I think it was last night or the night before. Yeah, Sunday night, sorry. Late game on Sunday night. When Sue was in the net having a contest with someone else, and their foot flicked up high and hit her in the face cage, and then the stick came up as well, so she's got a bit of an injury, like not
Yeah.
or anything. I don't think she needed stitches or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, she got a concussion out of it. So she's
Ooh,
out for a couple of weeks, but
dang.
she will be there on Friday night because yeah, she'll be there on Friday night as well. So anyway, we'll see you guys on Friday or Saturday.
All right. Thank you for tonight.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
See you
night,
later,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.
So
Right,
yeah,
see ya.
thank you.
See ya.